That name's sticking, is it?
Well, yeah, sort of. I must admit, I'm kind of. I don't know.
Welcome to Pod 'em Up, episode 15. It's the 15th in the series of an indeterminate number of shows.
Yeah, hopefully quite a few.
Many to come.
Many. 15 of many.
My name is Tibbs.
Yeah, my name is Ollie.
And together, our powers combined are the Pod 'em Up team.
The Pod 'em Up posse.
The Pod 'em Up posse.
As we're known on the street.
Yes, yes.
I'm sure they still use the word posse on the street. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't really go to the street.
I haven't been on the street. I haven't left the flat in about 5 years. So
okay.
Fair enough. I don't even know if there is a street.
No, I assume there's a street. There's a street somewhere.
Yeah. How's things?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Yeah, what have I been playing? Not much really. I've been playing Super Mario Maker 2 mostly.
I've been playing
month.
that as well.
Yeah, it's quite time consuming making all these levels, I find.
I've been doing more of the playing of the levels.
Have you? Okay.
Than the making of the levels, and I've got some mixed feelings about it. How has your time been with it?
Yeah, I mean, I have played a few levels here and there. I've mostly been doing the making side. I say all these levels. I've made only 2 of them so far, but I've spent quite a lot of time making them because these kind of ideas just kind of escalate, don't they? Really?
Yeah.
So I started off with when I saw it in the trailer, I had to use that Cooper car.
The Cooper
thing.
car.
I thought, yeah, that's got to be in a level somewhere, So I put together a level like that with some sort of like quick reaction kind of times. If you haven't seen it, basically it's a Cooper in a car that you can jump in and commandeer, to use around and zip around and stuff.
It doesn't handle tremendously though, is it? You've got a sort of. You can turn it from one direction to another, and it can only take 3 hits. So you've got to plan your levels around. That's you sort of integrate that into the challenge of it, don't you?
Yes, I think so. That was part of the thing. Like it takes 3 hits, and it then goes away. So you got to as you say, you do have to plan your levels around that. And you kind of have to account for every kind of possibility that might happen. So if there's a way of losing the Cooper car and you need it, then you're kind of stuffed, and you have to kind of prevent that from happening. So quite a few times I would have an idea and I would stumble on some way of breaking the idea completely and think, oh god, back to the drawing board there. Yeah, but I had fun with it. It was good. I got there in the end. I was kind of sick of the level by the time I finished it, so I just wanted to get it out there. The second one was I think you've played both of these, haven't you?
I have. Yeah, I haven't completed the second one.
Okay, yeah, it's kind of it was just sort of inspired by kind of a Metroidvania kind of or Zelda dungeon kind of layout. Basically, it's set in a boo house, and it's you've got several different rooms with challenges and stuff in them, and there's 5 of those pink coins hidden around the level, and there's a locked door right at the start that leads to the end, but you've got to get all the pink coins and go in these various different rooms. Sort of any change you make in one room might change things in another room. Going to go back and forth a little bit. There's no enemies. I just want it to be purely sort of kind of a puzzle-based thing. But I wanted like an unlimited time map, but you can't have one. It has to be, I think the maximum is like 7 minutes, which I think you ran out of time on it.
I did, yeah. I got stuck in a pipe maze. As you've got these sort of pipes, and they lead to different rooms. It's like 4 pipes entering a little square room, and you go through one, it will lead you to another bit, and I just kind of got lost going around in those pipes, and then the timer ran out, and that was it.
Do you know what? I wanted to make that pipe maze even longer than it was, but I ran it. This is the thing that you don't realise until you start really playing around with these levels. There are object limits to certain objects, including the pipes and the doors. I wanted to have like loads of doors everywhere, but you're limited to like 5 pairs of doors, which I found really frustrating because I had like a whole idea planned out, and you start doing this idea, and you can spend quite a long time building it up, and then you suddenly realise, I've run out of this object for some arbitrary reason. I don't know why these limits are in there. But then you have to kind of restructure everything. You've got to rethink, and it's really frustrating at first. But then you you kind of take a few steps back and you think, okay, maybe I could do this instead, and it kind of forces you, to work around it and use your ingenuity a bit, I think.
I was going to say,
still,
maybe it's there to try and force people not to just throw everything in there and sort of really focus their ideas a bit.
I do wonder that, yeah. I mean, but I wasn't trying to make something like really stupid. I was trying to make something quite clever, but the object limit was still kind of there, so it was kind of a bit annoying. But yeah, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. So that was frustrating, but yeah, on the whole, I really enjoyed it. I love it when you kind of get into an idea and it suddenly clicks with you, and you kind of think, oh, what if I did this, this, and this, or you discover like how two different objects interact with each other.
Yeah,
like crazy different things that you can do. So yeah, it was really fun, really good fun, actually, kind of making them, putting the things together, because I love all that really.
Yeah.
But and I've played a few other people's. There's quite a lot of rubbish on there.
I was going to say that's the trouble I've had. There's a lot of really hot garbage levels.
Yeah,
it's just really frustrating. I've been playing the endless Mario, the endless mode. If you play it on easy, there's so many levels where people have just put a straight line to the flag and nothing, no enemies or one simple jump.
Why?
Why upload that? I don't understand. And on the opposite,
what is endless mode? I don't think I've actually tried endless mode.
It's literally just it's like a high score thing. You just got to see how many levels you can complete without losing all your lives.
I see.
And it will just pick a random. So you've got easy, normal, hard, and super expert, or something like that. It's like 4 difficulties you can have. And that's basically it. It'll just pick a random level, and you just got to see how many you can do in sequence. You can skip a level if you find it too difficult or it's crap. But yeah, that the aim of the game is just to see how far you can get, how many levels you can complete without getting a game over. But it doesn't seem. I don't know how it works out, how it determines which levels are quote unquote easy and which ones are normal.
That's what I was wondering.
Because,
I mean, does it just go by the percentage of pass rate?
Maybe. But I've played so many. I got so frustrated with it today. I was trying to do the normal mode, and I think the highest I've got is like 5 compared to easy mode. I've got like 130 or something. Like levels in a row without dying. But the trouble is with the normal ones, I had so many levels where it'll drop you in and it's just a room full of enemies. No coherent design. It's just like, a flying Bowser, a million Goombas, just everything just chucked in a room. And that's it. And it's like, that's not a level. That's not a design.
No,
there's no effort been put into that whatsoever.
Yeah, I hate things like that. I like to just play around with like the clever ideas and find levels that I've done things that you haven't seen before. Just bunging a load of enemies and a load of stuff in there is just so frustrating.
Yeah, and even like I know there's some really clever ideas out there. There's some really fantastic levels that I have come across. I don't want to give the impression that it's all rubbish. I think it's just when it picks things randomly, and there's no quality control there, you can just end up on a bad run of just getting level after level of tripe. But I do like, it's so refreshing when you just get a normal level that someone's designed. Like, no gimmicks, just a straight-up Mario level that you would find in a Mario game. I really like that, and I just really appreciate the ones where people have put in the effort, either to make it a really cool twist on a level or just a straightforward Mario level. As long as the effort's been put in, I like it.
Yeah, I like those too. Yeah. Have you played much of the regular sort of single player mode?
I've
campaign.
I've 100%ed it now. I've done.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've done all the story ones, all the side ones. Unless I've missed some secret bits, I've done all of it now. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've only just started sort of. I played it very briefly at first, and I've come back to it and only just started building up the castle kind of thing. But I think you get pieces, don't you, or get power ups in it, like the hammer.
Yeah.
Do you get that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got an idea for a hammer level, so I'm trying to get that.
Yeah, it's quite cool, and a lot of the levels. I think the intended purpose of the story mode is to sort of inspire you
Yeah,
with things you can do. Because there's some really cool ideas in there. You think, oh right, I hadn't thought of doing things like that, and it is, it's quite inspiring in
yes,
that regard. So
yes, it is. I've encountered some of those already.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a really good
Oh,
package, though.
it's a fantastic
I've
little
had a lot of fun
package.
with
It's
it.
just
Mm. I
yeah.
mean, the interface I find really user friendly. I think
I'm
it's quite easy to
surprised
use.
how well it works because obviously I had Mario Maker on the Wii U, or I've
Yeah,
still got Mario Maker on the Wii U, and obviously it was built from the ground up with the touchscreen in mind. And I haven't got it, but there's a Mario Maker on the 3DS as well, and obviously you've got
there
the
is. Yeah,
touchscreen on that. So I was a bit apprehensive how it would work in sort of docked mode with just a controller, but I think it works. It works really well. It's obviously a lot easier to use when you've got the Switch out and you're doing the touchscreen, but yeah, it works really well with the control pad as
yeah.
well, which I'm quite impressed by.
I think so. Yeah. Sometimes I get the buttons muddled up and
Yeah,
press the wrong thing, but I mean, it's very difficult to get around that anyway. I think that's just a thing of
yeah.
just learning the interface really and getting into the groove with it. I think I think it works really well in dock mode. I've heard some people complain about it, but I think it's pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably nitpick if I really put my
Yeah.
mind to it, but I mean, my gut reaction is it's perfectly usable. I didn't have any frustrations with the interface side of things.
No. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, sometimes I'd encounter problems where I'm trying to do. I don't know. It's not really an interface thing. This is more of the way it works, but things not quite working the way I want them to. But then it's kind of they've set out to do a very difficult thing in providing a sort of a development tool for everyone to use, and it's quite they've got to make sure it's functional. They can't account for every idea that everyone has. So
No.
yeah, I mean it works well. It works well.
What do you think the chances are that, given it's arguable that the Sonic Racing Transformed games were Sega's answer to Mario Kart, and
Yeah.
Sonic Lost Worlds was Sega's answer to Mario Galaxy. Do you think we're going to see a Sonic Maker?
Maybe. Funnily enough, there is something I want to discuss about that, but I'm going to discuss it a bit later.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I'm going to come back to that. It's an interesting point.
Okay. Let's put that on the back burner for now, then.
Put that on the back burner. I'm going to come back to that fairly shortly. But yeah, that's Mario Maker. Had fun with it. Not much else really, other than our book club of the month pick. Those are really the only two things I've been playing this month. Although I did, if you remember from last episode, I was in the middle of getting my PC rebuilt.
Yes.
I'm pleased to say that's working.
Excellent.
It worked first time. Although when I turned it on, I got this like horrendous kind of grinding noise, and I was like, "Oh my god, what the what the hell is that?"
You left the cable touching one of the fans inside.
Yes. Yeah. I'm guessing that's a common thing.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, thank God, it's just that. It's like the least problematic reason it could. But after that, it was absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Looks like a dream. Really, really happy with it. Much faster than it was.
Awesome.
I've got a solid state hard drive in there for the operating system, so that's the way to go, definitely.
Yeah.
And they're really coming down in price now.
I know, it's amazing now. That's,
yeah.
I
think I've got 250 gig one because I just wanted it for the operating system.
Yeah.
I'll have everything else on the thing, and that was like 25 quid, I think.
Really?
Which is
Wow.
on Amazon. Yeah, 25 quid for 250 gigs, and it's
Wow,
it's
that is
incredible.
good, yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was when I saw that. I was just, there's no way I'm not going to do that. That's brilliant. So yeah, enjoying that. Also on the Steam Link front, I was messing around with that. I discovered I've got a fairly recent Samsung TV downstairs, and I discovered that that actually has a Steam Link app on it.
Oh, cool.
So, and that actually works a lot better than on the Pi. I think, I was baffled by that, but I think it's because on the Pi, I don't know, but I think it's different on the Pi 4 now. But on the Pi 3B, it's the Ethernet port is limited to USB 2.0. I think. Somehow.
It's a slower. Yeah, it's not a
Yeah.
gigabit Ethernet port, is it? It's 100 megabit, I think.
So, whereas obviously on the TV it is.
Yeah.
So I'm getting much smoother sort of frame rate, no audio drops, much more playable, much better latency. It's really good.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
So the only other playing I've been doing is sort of various sort of Steam games just to test
Just
it out.
to test it.
Yeah, but yeah, really happy with that. So I'm going to keep playing on that. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what else have you been playing then this month?
Obviously Mario Maker 2, as we discussed. That's
Yep.
taken up a significant chunk of the time.
Hmm.
There's a game that I don't really want to talk about just yet. Are we doing Indescribables this week?
Yeah, we are.
We are? Cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to use this as my Indescribable one because
Okay.
it's not an upcoming game. It's released. I don't know if that bends the rules a bit, but it is an indie game, and I do think it's deserving of people's attention. So
Okay. Cool. Yeah,
I'll
that's
leave
fine.
that one for then.
Hmm.
I bought Starlink Battle for Atlas,
Oh, yeah.
and it
Yeah.
didn't work, so I had to take it back.
Oh, really? Why not?
I couldn't get it to work.
On what system?
Switch.
Oh, that's weird. What was wrong with it? What
It
happened?
wouldn't detect the R-wing. It comes
Oh,
with the R-wing model. It detected
yeah.
Fox. You plugged in Fox, and he gave his little
Yeah.
flashy intro, and
Yeah.
then it said connect, link the spaceship. So I plugged in the R-wing as instructed, and it just didn't
Yeah.
do anything. If I wiggled it from side to side, it would pick it up with one of the wings, but the other wing wouldn't show up. And then the minute I let
Ah.
go of it, it disconnected again.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, I took it apart just to see if there was any sort of loose connections or anything, but it all looked, the couple of slightly shoddy soldering points, but nothing that should have caused any problems. But yeah, I couldn't get to work, so I took it back today, hoping for an exchange, but they didn't have any. So I just got my money back, and I've ordered one online. So eventually it'll come. So, but I couldn't even get into the game. So I presume it's good.
Yeah.
But
It's fairly good, yeah. I've played it a little bit. I've been meaning to get back to it. I haven't got back to it yet. And it's dirt cheap now. I saw it.
that's why I
for
bought
like,
it. It was 10 quid.
I saw it
10
for
quid.
like a tenner the other day. Is that what you got it
Yeah.
for? Yeah, that's mental, isn't it?
it's-
It came out at like 60 quid, I think.
Yeah.
And very quickly just dropped. I'm guessing not many people bought it at the time, but
I'm guessing not many
It's good.
people bought it, and maybe if my experience is anything to go by, maybe it's a little bit prone to faults. But
possibly. I
don't
haven't
know.
had any problems with mine, I must say. I mean, granted, I haven't used it extensively, but it's worked. I haven't really had any of those issues.
yeah,
So hopefully, just had a bad one, I guess.
yeah, I'll say this for it: the R-wing model's lovely.
It's lovely, isn't it? Yeah, it's on my shelf at the moment.
I was
It's
gonna.
really nice.
There's people on eBay just selling stands just to put the R-wing on if you don't want to play the game. So
I mean, yeah, you can get it for the price that you would normally expect to pay for an R-wing model anyway. And get a
Yeah.
whole game with it, so
Yeah.
it's a bargain.
it really is, and I do like the idea of it. I've got to say, it does seem. It's the sort of thing I would have loved when I was a kid. You know,
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah,
putting the little weapons on there, swapping the wings out, and all that kind of stuff. That would have been right up my street. So
yeah. I'm going to find some time to play it properly and maybe get a couple of weapon packs if they're going
Yeah.
just as cheap. Yeah.
yeah, they are. I mean, Argos, for our American listeners, is like a department store where you sort of go in and pay for things, and they give them to you. I suppose that's pretty much the same as any store.
It's all behind the counter.
They
though,
keep
so
it
it's
all
hidden in
behind
the
lock
back.
and key, don't they? And you go in and
Yeah,
give them
they
a
do.
little code number and pay for it and all that kind of stuff. Point is, they were selling it really cheap, and they selling the pilot packs instead of £7, they're down to 99p now.
Oh blimey!
And the other ships are down from like £26 down to like £6.99. So
Right.
yeah, it looks like they're having a bit of a clearance on those. So
Everything must go.
Yeah.
Blimey, yeah. Jesus.
so yeah, I played a bit of that. I played up to the character select screen anyway. I bought another cheap one at Friday the 13th, the game, but I haven't played any of that yet, so I can't really report back on that.
Okay.
And other than that, it's been the game of the month.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, I think it's mostly
yeah,
been Mario Maker for both of us.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Okay. It's Mario Maker a month.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, fair enough. Okay. Any other news bits that we should talk about before we get into those indescribables?
Yes, there was, but I can't remember what it was. There's definitely been something going on.
I've got one written down.
Let's hear it.
Streets of Rage 4 music composers announced.
Ah,
Did you see
yeah.
that?
Yes.
Yeah. So Yuzo Koshiro,
Yes.
the original guy, is coming back, as is Motohiro Kawashima, who also worked with him on Streets of Rage. Yoko Shimomura, Street Fighter 2. Hideki Naganuma, Jet Set Radio, and Keiji Yamagishi, Ninja Gaiden. So those are some pretty big hitters in terms of game music.
Absolutely.
I mean, you've got some of the best game soundtracks ever there. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be a hell of a soundtrack, I think.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. It's a shame we haven't had. Other than that, we haven't had anything more recently about Streets of Rage 4. We don't even know if it's releasing this year or anything, do we?
No, we don't know anything about it, really. I mean, I'm kind of glad that I think sometimes games tend to be they have so much video and stuff released of them beforehand that it kind of, you've seen it all, you know what to expect when you get the game.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm kind of glad that they're playing the cards close to their chest a bit with this one, and it's going to be, a lot of it's going to be a surprise when we see it for the first time and hear the music and stuff. So, but a little bit more detail on when we can expect it would definitely be appreciated, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I'm completely in agreement. I can't stand it when they just show you everything about the game before you get to play it. And if it's a game I really anticipate, I try and just switch off like a few weeks before the release, because they tend to just, certain games, they'll tend to just drop everything.
Yeah.
Like every level, everything, not leave any real surprises. So yeah, I'm glad I'm glad that they're keeping their cards close to the chest at the moment. Hopefully, I'd like a little bit more. But a release date would be most useful. I think would be the best thing I want to look for. Yeah, there is some whole gameplay footage around at the moment. I think it's been on a couple of shows, so you can see a whole level being played, I believe.
I haven't watched that. I've seen a couple of short gameplay segments, but I would I either haven't seen it or I consciously avoided it. So
yeah, no, I haven't sat and watched the full one. I've seen just bits of it. I don't really want to sit and watch the whole thing, but. Yeah, it's out there. That's out there. But I think it's just the same sort of things that you've seen in the trailer anyway. I don't think there's any new environments or anything.
No, new characters.
It's really nice though, from what I've seen. It looks like it plays exactly like Streets of Rage 2.
Yeah.
Handling wise, and it's got the same speed as opposed to Streets of Rage 3, which was a bit quicker, I think.
It was slightly quicker, yeah.
Yeah, so that's really good. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that one still.
I can't remember if we discussed this on the last show. I don't think we did. I think this has happened since then. But Nintendo's announcement of the Switch Mini, is it called the Switch Mini?
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
finally, a portable Switch.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, Jesus Christ! What took you so long, Nintendo?
It's what the world wanted.
It is. Yeah, it seems a bit weird, that, doesn't it?
It does.
I mean, are you going to get one?
Probably not.
No, I'm certainly not going to get one. I don't play portable games, but yeah, it seems a bit odd, doesn't it? They're also coming out with another Switch that's just got the battery life extended. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear that.
The same model of the Switch, not even different packaging, not even announced as a new name. It's just a revision of it, but it's got double the battery life or something. And there will not be any easy way to tell the original Switch and this Switch apart, I don't think. So it's just a revision of it.
Wow.
Yeah, so
that's that. Something, I
that's
suppose.
Something, yeah.
I don't know, maybe I think I may be just the wrong audience for it, because I thought the same thing when they announced the 2DS, and I thought it was ludicrous. I thought it looked like a joke, and
yes,
I thought,
I did too.
You're taking away the one unique selling point of your console, and I don't get it, but it sold like hotcakes. So
I think
what do I know?
It was because there was lots of talk that the 3D effect was damaging kids' eyes.
Yeah.
I think they came out with it as a way of saying. I remember it being advertised saying, "Oh no, sorry." I remember the original 3DS being advertised that, "Oh look, you could turn the 3D off."
Yeah.
As if to say to parents, they don't have to play in 3D.
Yeah.
Keep that switch off. So I think the 2DS was to keep the momentum going with kids, to say to parents, look, this thing isn't going to damage their eyes any more than anything else is. It doesn't have a 3D mode. So I think, I was totally with you on that originally, because I thought this is just stupid. But I think that was their reason. It was mainly the child market that they were going for.
I mean, it
literally
looked like a doorstop. It did.
It looked very weird.
So
it
cumbersome.
looks a bit like the old kind of Tiger handheld.
Yeah,
games.
It does.
Yeah.
But like I said, I mean, people loved it. People lapped it up. So, but I mean, like the key point of the Switch, I mean, in its name is the fact that it switches between a handheld and a a home console, and
Exactly,
it's
yeah.
got no detachable controllers, and it's just I
To
don't
not
know.
even have like a port coming out of it where you could just plug the HDMI cable in just seems weird, doesn't it?
It is. It's a really weird thing. I don't get it. I don't get it. I yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah,
but
I'm struggling to see what.
but
It's a bit smaller, isn't it? And it's
it's a
got
bit smaller. But I mean,
the Joy Cons are built into it, so there's no you can't. There are no Joy Cons basically. It's a whole handheld system.
that means you can't
You
play
know.
1-2 Switch.
Oh man,
You know,
I don't know what I'm going to do without being able to play 1-2 Switch.
it's just unbelievable. It's like
Yeah. I mean, they haven't really done outside of 1-2 Switch. They haven't really done much with those Joy Cons. Oh, well, there was although the Labo stuff
Labo,
has done quite a
yeah.
lot,
But I
doesn't
mean,
it? Yeah.
Labo, you're not really going to play portably, I suppose. That's going to be a very at-home thing. You're not going to be walking
No,
around town wearing
yes.
that robot suit, are you?
Hopefully not. No. No, I mean that's very much works with the cardboard as it's supposed to.
Yeah.
You can't customize that really, but yeah, it's they haven't really used the technology behind those Joy-Cons in many just general games really, have they? I don't think.
I don't think they have thinking about it. No.
No.
And the whole 3D Rumble thing, I think, has been completely underutilized. I can't
Yeah.
think of any games that, besides 1-2 Switch, that really sort of showcase that feature.
It happens
So,
sometimes, doesn't it? When a
yeah,
company makes a feature as part of their controllers or their hardware that no one really uses.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was just an odd bit of news. I know it's been predicted for a while, but I kind of thought that was just rumor and nothing would come of it. But there we go.
Someone said the only good thing about it is that it has an actual D-pad rather than buttons.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't think anyone's going to rush out to buy it just for that. Really.
I
But
don't know I don't know if that's worth £200 of anyone's money, but
no,
yeah.
but people who collect for the Switch, and I think there are a few. You see them on Twitter sometimes.
there's a
with,
thriving sort of collector scene on the
every
Switch.
Switch thing there is ever with these unlimited pockets of money that they've got. And I'm sure they'll rush out and buy it.
Yeah.
And all the colours as well. But
That's the thing,
you,
I
then great,
suppose.
but
Because there isn't much room on the Switch proper to do like limited editions. Most of the limited editions have been restricted to like a decal on the actual Switch dock. I suppose if you've got the Switch Mini and it's all in one case, you've got all that real estate on the back of it to do proper designs and stuff. So maybe it's there's going to be a lot more sort of limited collector's editions and fancy designs for the Mini that they can't do on the normal Switch. But
yeah.
again, whether that's something that it motivates you to open your wallet is a personal thing, I suppose. But there we go.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Okay. Shall we move on to Indescribables?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
That
Do you
name
want
that name's sticking, is it?
Well, yeah, sort of. I must admit, I'm kind of. I don't know. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what it is.
All right.
I like the play on words. I do like it.
Yeah.
But I find the indescribables a little bit
It's cumbersome.
fiddly to say. It's cumbersome, and also I'm not sure it gets across what we're trying. I mean, it might do in this case because you're talking about a game that's already out, but
That's true.
I don't know. The idea behind it is sort of incoming indie games. So I mean, I kind of thought incoming indies maybe.
Incoming indies.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of up in the air.
Yeah. Let's crack on for now, and we'll come up with something. Incoming indies.
Yeah. All right. Incoming indies, indescribables. We'll sort it out. We'll come up with a solid name.
Yeah.
I do like indescribables. Don't get me wrong. It's
Don't
a nice.
patronise me.
No, it's a nice name. It's a good name. It's just I don't know if it fully.
It's not.
Ironically, I don't think it
it's
fully
not fit for
describes
purpose.
what we're trying to do.
No, it
but,
doesn't. No, I suppose not.
That was my only thing with it.
Yeah.
But
No, I mean it's fine. Twist a knife. It's fine. Don't worry. Come on, I say right your bloody game.
all right.
No,
Jesus.
I know. It's fine. It's all good.
Right, my bloody game this month is this is what I was alluding to earlier.
Okay, I was going to say, I hope we're not going to have a drill Dozer situation where you pick the same one as I'm going to pick.
No, I don't think so.
Cool.
You were saying is it likely to have a Mario Maker a Sonic version of Mario Maker.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy making it happen. Have you seen this? This is called Sonic Studio, and it's a fan-made production. So still kind of an indie game, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not. It's a fan game, but it's originally made Sonic Engine, a development system similar to Mario. So it's got a complete level editor in it. You can jump in and start playing at any point, much like Mario Maker 2. It's got completely original graphics in it. It's got like a Sonic Mania kind of style to it. Completely original Sonic sprite. Very nice looking system. It's something I've been following for a little while now. Actually, it's been in development for a few years. It used to be called Sonic Maker, I think, but I think he perhaps changed it to
that's probably a good idea to change
from
that.
Mario Maker. But it looks really, really cool. I'd recommend anyone checking it out. It looks very, very sort of professional. The interface looks really, really nice. Lots of really nice graphics. The terrain is a lot more customizable than Mario Maker. You can kind of draw it out however you want. It looks the tools that you use remind me of sort of if anyone uses Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator, a bit like how you draw paths like that in that sort of tool, and then it just kind of makes the terrain for you, much like Mario Maker does.
Yeah, I'm just looking at some screenshots now. It looks amazing. It is very Mario Maker, the interface, isn't it? It's very similar.
It's clearly been it's come about, I think since Mario Maker 1 was out, but yeah, it's clearly inspired by that, but easy to use. I think it's going to have its own, much like Mario Maker, I think it's going to have its own sort of system where you can submit your own levels to it, so you can upload them. The only thing I think, because it doesn't, I think you're limited to what it has, so you can't upload your own sprites or your own sort of custom objects and things. And I can kind of see why the guy who's made this has done that, because it prevents too much crap getting into the system, basically. So it'll all, if you keep stick with the graphics are on offer, it'll all look nice at least. I think he's going to have a range of levels from classic zones. Green Hill is there, Aquatic Ruin is there from Sonic 2, all sorts of others that I've seen as well. So yeah, it looks really, really nice.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. I mean, the obvious question is copyright.
Yeah.
I mean, Sega tend to be a lot more permissive about fan games and fan works than, say, Nintendo. But this does look like a really sort of professional kit. Do you reckon it will survive a cease and desist, or? This
is the question I wanted to bring up, yeah. Sega, to my knowledge, have only taken down one fan game, and that was the Streets of Rage remake some time ago. To my knowledge, they have never taken down a Sonic fan game before. And there's been hundreds and hundreds of them. But this may be the thing that crosses the line, because technically you can use it to make your own Sonic levels. You could recreate the whole Green Hill, or the whole Mega Drive catalogue of Sonic games technically with this, possibly, depending on the limitations of the engine, but I'd imagine you could come up with something pretty close. So is that going to be a problem for Sega? Is it going to interfere if they're planning on making more Sonic Manias? Hopefully they are. Does an engine like this interfere with that? I don't know.
Would it? I mean, it's a dream scenario, but would it be? Do you reckon they would be likely to pick it up and publish it in like a Sonic Mania kind of way?
It could be. I mean,
it looks really professional. It's not a run of the mill fan project by the look of it. It's really quite slick.
Yes, definitely. I'd urge anyone to check it out. If they're thinking, oh no, it's a fan-made thing, it's going to look rubbish. No, this looks like a proper professional-made thing.
Really does.
He's put a lot of hard work into this. All the little animated touches that you get in the interface, really, really nice.
And the sprites, if they're all original sprites, the Sonic sprite's amazing.
Yeah, that's an original Sonic sprite.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's really, really nice. It doesn't look like the other Sonic sprites. It looks, unique.
Yeah.
All the levels have been redone, much like Sonic Mania has done. But if you look at Green Hill Zone, it doesn't look exactly the same. It looks really kind of
it looks really
a bit higher def.
Yeah, a bit modernised, but still recognisable. It's really nice.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm hoping. Yeah, I to answer your question, could they take him on much like they did with Christian Whitehead and Sonic Mania? Possibly, but if they have, I suspect it hasn't happened yet, because he's been posting about this really recently. So, and he wouldn't be doing that if they struck a deal with them or something. So you never know. I think it's made in Game Maker,
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So it's going to be PC. I don't know any other platforms.
Well, I mean, if it's
But
Game
yeah,
Maker, it should be portable to pretty much anything, shouldn't it?
yeah, I think it's fairly exportable now,
Yeah.
Game Maker, isn't it? Yeah, but the only thing I would say is it's his limitations on not being able to upload your own graphics and stuff it's a shame, because he's made this amazing engine here. I've never seen anything like this outside of Christian Whitehead's own engine. In terms of creating your own Sonic levels, nothing comes as close to this in terms of ease of use. So it's a shame. I hope that he does sort of release that engine separately, so that if someone does want to make a proper fan game with it, with their own custom levels and graphics that can't be uploaded to his system, then I'm hoping he'll do that. He hasn't said he will or not, but it would be nice if he did share this engine so that anyone could use it in whatever way they wanted to. That's the only thing I would say about that, because it's a lovely engine. It'd be,
I wonder if that's part of the thing, though. I mean, if maybe that would cross the line and start getting Sega's attention. If you were able to just take this engine and then produce, a game that would execute on its own and make a whole fan game outside of the Sonic studio, maybe that would be enough for Sega to say, hang on, I'm not really keen on this. Maybe the fact that it's clear that it's not something sanctioned by Sega. You couldn't pass it off as an official Sega game. They're clearly fan-made levels that can only be accessed within this studio. Maybe that's just tipping the balance and keeping the lawyers at bay, maybe. I don't know.
Possibly. Yeah, possibly. But then again, people have been able to, using various engines, been able to recreate whole Sonic levels and things before.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it wouldn't be a new thing to do that. It's just an easy to use engine for people who maybe have a lot of graphical capabilities but no coding abilities.
Yeah.
As someone, I mean, for years and years I've wanted to make my own Sonic levels. It's kind of been a sort of a dream at the back of my head to one day make and just be able to sit down, and I've got loads of ideas for them. And so this kind of thing really grabbed my interest, but the limitations on not being able to do your own graphics or make your own objects and stuff. Well, I'm sure this is very customized, it's a very good engine, but it's kind of a little bit of a shame.
Yeah.
For if you're a sort of a budding fan game maker, but yeah. I mean, we'll see. I think he's got no release date set yet. It's obviously a work in progress. He seems to be quite far along with it, but who knows what his intentions are with it. But I think it's been around for a while. I think it's going to reach its release at some point, I would say, hopefully, as long as Sega are okay with it. But they have had opportunity to step in by this point, so it will.
Yeah, but they did.
They will have.
Streets
they will
of
probably
Rage
be
remake
aware
as well,
of it,
didn't they? I mean, that wasn't. That was around for years and years and years, and not in secret. I mean, that was out there, well known for years, and it's only Sega only put the ban hammer on it shortly after the final version shipped. So
right? Yes.
It's.
Yeah.
Like I say, though, Sega are usually pretty cool with fan games, though, aren't they?
They are. They know that they really help them. That they know. It's come well known that that's how Sonic Mania exists, through fan-made things, and
Well, there's the Sonic Annual Gaming Expo. I mean, Sega are well aware of that. Every year, there's a bunch of fan games publicised, and Sega, tacitly endorse it, if not outright support it. So.
That's right. So fingers crossed that they'll be all right.
Yeah.
If you want to look it up, it's called Sonic Studio, at Sonic Studio on Twitter. If you Google it, I found that there's another piece of software, I think audio based, called Sonic Studio.
That's
so
what I found first of all. Yeah.
Yeah, I might have to skip down a few things, but it is there.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Yeah, go and check it out. Really, really cool.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah. So what's your indescribable / incoming indie?
Well, my pick for the indie thing is 1980X.
Oh yeah, I did see you tweet about this.
Yeah.
I didn't recognise the name, and then I looked it up, and then I thought, oh yeah, I have seen this before. Yeah, but go on.
It's a really cool idea. It's describes itself as a coming of age story told through arcade games. And that's basically what it is. It's a story about a kid. It's ambiguous whether it's a boy or a girl. I think it's just referred to as the kid, although the voice actor sounds female. So I think I don't know. It's doesn't really matter. It affects the story, but you're this kid, and it's sort of a monologue or a narration about this kid and how alienated they feel from people, and just the usual sort of angsty growing up type things. But they stumble across an arcade down a back alley of the town where they live, and it's all about the escapism they find within the games, and how these games reflect how they're feeling, and reflect kind of that whole growing up thing that people do. Most humans do it, I think. The whole growing up
Yeah, at some point.
thing. But yeah, so the game is told. It reminds me, there was a game. Like, I'm getting my thoughts a bit mumbled, but basically, the game is told through, I think it's 5. I've done 5 of them so far, I think. Recreations of famous arcade games. So the game starts with an obvious homage to Final Fight. It's like a side-scrolling beat-em-up section.
Yeah.
There's a Outrun section. We're sort of literally racing to the checkpoint in an Outrun style car, Outrun style backgrounds. There's a Shinobi type stage. There's a R-type space shooter type stage, and they're really, really loving recreations of those games, and it's done really, really well. The Outrun stage in particular, the graphics are done to really, really emulate the old Sega System 16 arcade machine that the Outrun original ran on. And the way the scenery at the side of the road is sort of patterned and everything, it's a pitch perfect sort of homage to the classic arcade games.
Yeah.
And it's got music from Yuzo Koshiro in there as well.
Oh, has it?
Yes.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Oh, wow.
A bunch of other people as well. I'm not marginalising their input, but that's the name that sticks out to me for obvious reasons, being big fans
that's quite
of Streets of Rage. Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite a thing, isn't it?
Yeah. A few years ago, there was a game that came out called Eat Lead: The Return of Matt Hazard, or The Legend of Matt Hazard.
Right.
And the idea behind that game was it was a Duke Nukem type character who was once famous and had been forgotten about. And it was he'd got the chance to star in a new game or something along those lines, and it was meant to be like a look back of his career as a game character.
Right.
It's been a long time since I played it, but I remember reading about it, so I might get some details wrong here and there. I don't think anyone else played it, so it's not going to be a
I
big
don't think
deal.
I've heard of it.
No, I think most of the world is in that boat. But I kind of expected that game to be what this is, where there would be
Right.
different levels themed on different games that he'd been in, and like a throwback to different eras of gaming. And it turned out to be not that. It was just a bog standard third person shooter. But this is exactly the kind of thing that I've wanted to see done in other games before, and it really nails it. It's just a really cool experience. I haven't finished it yet. I've found the last game is like a 3D. I presume it's the last game. Is a 3D maze RPG type game where you go around this maze and like jellyfish pop up and you got to beat them.
Yeah.
And I've got a bit stuck on that one. I got a bit stuck on that. So, but the rest of it is really cool. And like as you're playing, it's not just a case of sort of narrative section, cutscene, then a game, then a cutscene, then a game. It all kind of overlaps. So you're on the racing game section, you'll come to a really long section of a track, and the background music and sound effects sort of fade out a bit, and then the voiceover will come over and start narrating the next part of the story, and it's all kind of
nice.
while you're still playing it, and it's all kind of a really neat sort of narrative and a really good thing. I like
Right.
it. Is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
it sounds really nice.
If I had to level a criticism, I'd say it's obviously quite a short experience, and it's maybe a little bit on the pricey side for what you get. I think it's $13.99 on the PlayStation Store at the moment.
Right.
I think maybe I think you could probably play through it in a couple of hours. And I'm not one of those people who tries to work out the cost per hour of play or anything like that. But
No.
if the story doesn't resonate with you, you might feel it's a bit expensive. If like me, you play it and you really get what they're going for and you enjoy it, it's great. But I think it's one of those games where if it doesn't click with you, and you'll know very early on if it's going to click with you or not, and if it doesn't, then it's a bit of a gamble for that kind of price, I think. But I give it my recommendation. I think it's well worth checking out.
Okay. So does the story do a bit of story? Then you play a bit of one arcade game, jump out, play another, and then go back to the previous arcade games, or do you play them all sequentially?
You play them all. So you play them all. You play them sequentially, basically. So the beat 'em up stage is the first bit. That's the first bit of the story, and then it's the story continues, goes back, and it's like a R-type side scroller.
Yeah.
Then it's the Outrun game. Then it's a Legend of Shinobi type game, which is really, really well done. It's really nice. The graphics across the board are superb, and they're they're believable representations of what a game would be like at that time. I know there's a lot of games that go for sort of a retro aesthetic, but you think, games they didn't really look like that at the time.
No, that's right. Yeah.
But I think this really nails it. You could believably be playing this on sort of a 1989 arcade machine. It's really the attention to detail is really fantastic.
Yeah, it's actually quite difficult to do that.
Yeah, it is.
Isn't it? To not make use of modern kind of hardware, especially as a game developer. I think you've got access to so much more technical capabilities that you could easily make something that those machines can't do anymore. But to sort of convincingly limit yourself to those kind of color palettes and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of think of Shovel Knight. I remember everyone at the time saying, "Oh, Shovel Knight is that would be just you could imagine that on an NES," and it's like it's got the NES aesthetic, but there's no way that would ever run on that hardware. But the levels conceivably could look like they do on era accurate machines. I suppose it does have that thing I've noticed a lot recently, and it's not sort of limited to games, but this sort of romanticization of the 80s.
Yes.
I've noticed it with Stranger Things and all these other things. The 80s, I was there for a good portion of them.
Yeah.
And I don't remember it being all neon and vaporwave music. It was mostly Bananarama and Recession, as far as I can
Do you
recall.
remember that? Because we're the same age, and I don't remember anything about the 80s, really.
Oh, I remember Bananarama. They got a new album out now, apparently.
Have they?
Yeah, there you go. Check that out.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, I think I certainly don't remember it being all smoky and neon and Blade Runner like.
The 80s is very in at the moment.
Yeah,
in general, it's a very in decade. I'm waiting for the same thing to happen to the 90s because I'm much more familiar with the 90s than I am the 80s. But
I dread to think what that's going to be like. I mean, if that was what the 80s are being represented like, I dread to think what the 90s are going to be. How they're going to be represented.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good story. It's got a lot of heart, and if you are into retro games at all, and you've got any appreciation for sort of early era arcade machines, sort of 16-bit arcade machines at least, you'll get a lot from it. Highly recommended.
Yeah, it looks really, really nice. I might think about picking it up at some point.
Yeah.
That's,
it's coming to Switch. It's coming to Switch soon, apparently. I think it'd be a really good fit for the Switch. I hope they do like a little physical version of it. That'd be a really good little limited run type thing. But
once you've sort of unlocked the games, can you play them?
Yes.
Whenever you want. Yeah, that's cool. That's essential. I would say that.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So there we go. So, any other business before we move on to our game of the month?
No, I don't think so. I think we should crack right on, drill right into it.
Oh, well, that's a Bobby Dazzler. Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. Welcome back. This month we have been playing none other than Drill Dozer for the Game Boy Advance by Game Freak. Our second appearance of Game Freak this year.
Yeah.
Both,
I like bringing
picks.
attention to non-Pokemon Game Freak games.
Yeah, yes, it's good. They don't really get much attention, do they?
They don't. They don't get nearly enough attention. It's a shame.
No. So this is for the Game Boy Advance, late Game Boy Advance release in September 2005 in Japan. 2006, February 2006 in the US. Never made it to these shores at the time.
According to one of our Twitter people, Swag Bear is Swag.
Yeah.
He says it did get a release on the Wii U Virtual Console.
Yes, it did.
So
yes.
not a physical release, but it
No.
did eventually get here.
That's right. It was released on the Wii U everywhere in 2015 and 16.
As if it didn't have a limited enough audience already, they decided to put it out on the Wii U.
That's the second dig at the Wii U
I love the Wii
in a
U.
row.
I'm one of the few people who love that console.
Oh, I love the Wii U. Absolutely, yeah.
Great
we love the
little
Wii U.
machine.
Just that not enough people played it.
No.
And now their library is being slowly pillaged by the Switch, so it doesn't really have anything exclusive left for it anymore.
No, by the end of this year, basically every exclusive will have been ported to the Switch, I think.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's a shame.
Wow.
Poor old Wii U. It was a great console. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about this game. So it's quite a pricey one. So there may be 30. It's hard to pin down a price, but maybe £30 to £40 for the cartridge.
For the cartridge, yeah. Plus, if you're living in the UK like us, you're going to have to add import charges and duty and stuff on that.
That's right. So it's a difficult one to get.
Yeah, it's gonna be quite pricey to get hold of.
Yeah, I think 50. Not anything north of £50 for the box as well. But
I looked on eBay earlier. There's only one listing for the game in the UK, and it's just for the manual, and that's £15 on its own. So
okay, the manual.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Okay, I love it when they try and sell the manuals. Okay, you can get the manual. You're part of the way there.
Yeah.
You just build it up gradually.
Yeah.
So this game is notable as being one of only two cartridges that have that rumble feature built into it. So the Game Boy Advance doesn't have a rumble feature. The cartridge brings that with it. The only other one to do so is WarioWare Twisted, apparently.
Yes.
Also had it. This is a 2D platformer in which you control a girl called Jill in a small mech, which has a drill attached to it. And yeah, this is the main gimmick of the game, really, and where the rumble feature comes in. So whenever you fire up that drill, it starts rumbling.
It does.
Did you? I think you emulated this, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you find it rumbled? Did you use a pad? First of all?
Yes, I used the 360 pad. Yeah, it rumbled.
Yes, I did too. Yes, and that works in RetroArch.
Yes.
It didn't on my 8-bit Do SNES controller, interestingly, for some reason.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know why. I think it has a rumble. I'm pretty sure it does. But yeah, the 360 pad worked.
I was going to say, I played it with and without rumble just to see what difference it made. And I found it did make a difference. I think it felt a little bit more. I don't know what the word is. Visceral, I suppose. A little bit more impactful.
I think being on a handheld as well might make a difference too, because it's all sort of right there, and the whole the screen is probably shaking while you're doing it. Yeah. So I'd imagine that would make quite a big part of the impact on it as well. I would imagine. But yeah, it did. But like all rumble things, you kind of get used to it after a while. And you don't even notice it eventually. But yeah, it's a cool feature.
It really is. Yeah.
Yeah, really nice. So yeah, you play as Jill, daughter of Doug, who is leader of the Red Dozers, a gang of bandits who are attacked by a rival gang called the Skulkers, who appear to have the police in their pockets. The antagonists steal from them I'm just reading out what I wrote on our blog post, by the way. The antagonists steal from them a powerful red diamond, a gift from Jill's deceased mother. And this prompts Jill to hop into a drilling mech called the Drill Dozer, hence the name, and lead the Red Dozers on a mission to reclaim the jewel on her parents' behalf. So after that, that's this sort of Chaos Emerald like red jewel.
It's a tale as old as time.
It is. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. Pretty cool to play as a bunch of bandits and bad guys, essentially. Yeah. It's quite nice. So it's a 2D platformer. It's got very kind of maze-like levels in which you there's various blocks to drill through. You hold the L and R buttons to drill in different directions. So, what is it? Lefty loosey, righty tighty.
Yes, indeed.
That's the thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're right. You're right. The R trigger drills in one direction, and you reverse. I think they can both be used for drilling into stuff, but there are various mechanics that you can use them opposingly, and various different things will happen. So you can pull things in and out.
Yeah.
So some interesting sort of mechanics in there.
Would it be fair to describe the game? I kind of think of it as like a Metroidvania light.
Yes, I had that in my notes. Yes,
it's not like a full-on heavy Metroidvania type game, but it is. You're going to be working a range. Yeah, you got to find certain upgrades to get through new paths in the level and explore places. So it's got kind of Metroidvania elements to it.
Yes, that's right. It's not. It's laid out in a traditional platformer sense. So I think there's 6 levels and 2 parts to the 2 stages in them.
Yeah.
So it's sequential like that. But each stage, you've got to find your gears first of all in each stage. So there's a second gear and a third gear hidden as you progress through the levels, and that will allow you to increase the speed of your drill. And there's the system. I found it a little bit tricky to switch gears initially, but you kind of get it eventually. You kind of have to hold the trigger, and there's an on-screen prompt with a bar that shows how much power you're putting through, and once that bar reaches the top, it starts going back down again. But at the top, you release the trigger, press it again, you go into second gear, do it again for third gear.
Yeah.
And that will allow you to sort of drill quicker, drill tougher things, make use of objects that require you to stay drilling it for a certain amount of time. There'll be a moving platform thing that you have to stick your drill into, and you have to keep drilling for a certain amount of time for it to carry you over the gap. And then, for example, but you need the third gear in order to stay on it for long enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So in that sense, there are Metroidvania elements where you'll see these things and you won't be able to use them until you've gone off somewhere to find the upgrade.
And you've got little, I was going to say, you've got little jelly blocks as well, haven't you? Where you sort of drill into them and then you reverse the drill direction. That will sort of rebound you away.
Yes.
But there's sometimes you'll need the third gear level in order to get bounced far enough to reach another platform, kind of thing.
Yes,
so
that's right. Yeah.
There's all
some
kind
clever
of little things like that.
There's some clever level design and gimmicks and things to use. Yeah. Moving, because it's a mech, I found it quite slow to move around at times. It wasn't a particularly agile kind of mechanics. Would you agree with that?
Yeah,
a little bit slow,
a little bit sluggish,
which makes sense. And I think at first I found that a little bit frustrating, but you kind of get into it. I think you kind of get into the rhythm of it. But I tell you what, these stages aren't half long, aren't they?
They really are. Yeah,
these are some of the longest stages I've ever seen in a platform.
Definitely, I didn't complete this game.
No, I didn't. No.
And I didn't get hugely far into it. I got enough to sort of refresh my memory of it, and it's a game that I'm going to finish because I really did enjoy it. But they are. You expect sort of portable handheld games to be kind of little pick up and play little nuggets of gameplay, but this is it feels more like a console, like a home console thing than a handheld.
It does. I would say you can save it anywhere in the level. So you can just press the start menu, get the start menu up and save, and I think it saves at the beginning of that room, and there's the level's broken up to various rooms that you go into, so I think you can save pretty regularly and not you lose your progress.
You're not going to have to start from the beginning of the stage and stuff.
But it's kind of a psychological thing, you want to do a full stage run, and it takes a good between half an hour and an hour.
I was going to say, yeah, some of them you're looking at about half hour,
like
yeah, probably towards
45
an hour,
minutes, something like that. Yeah, some of them are slightly longer than others, but yeah, they're all really, really much longer than you would expect them to be. Yeah, it's partly the speed of the mech and the way you move around, and the fact that you have to sort of progress through these sort of puzzle type things. But generally, there's so much content in there, I think, to get through, and it's a lot of the level stuff I didn't find too hard.
No,
it's just the sheer amount of stuff there is to get through is the main thing behind it, I think.
Yeah.
I didn't die too many times, and it's quite. I think because as you drill through things, you get sort of money, and if you do lose all your health, you can just pay a certain amount to get back in there.
Yeah, and you can buy upgrades for the Dozer between levels and stuff as well. So there's things you can do to make things easier on yourself as you advance.
Yes, there's energy packs that you can buy to increase your health. When I bought a couple of those, and that helped me quite a lot, to be honest. I didn't die too many times after that. So yeah, that's the basic kind of mechanics of it. Just trying to think what else to cover.
I thought it was quite a neat. I don't know, it's not really a gameplay mechanic because it's the same thing that you're doing through the rest of the stage, but I thought it was kind of funny and neat the way that some of the bosses, they've got like a big screw, and you need to use the drill to unravel that, to unwind that screw to make the boss's mech fall apart. And there's all kinds of, it's not just a case of ploughing into the boss and drilling into them. Like there's one boss that it's in 2 stages. I think it's when you get the yellow emerald, and it's in 2 stages. You beat the first stage, you sort of drill the flashing weak point, but then it blasts off into this sort of little jet engine thing that flies around, and it will sort of swoop down on you, and you've got to drill into the little jet engine thing underneath the boss, and it will sort of lift you up in the air, and it's all kind of little neat things on there, rather than just going in and just drill the boss until it dies. You have to work out, from the way the game has taught you up to that point, like drilling into the lifts that you mentioned that sort of carry you up and down, and using that to see certain things on the boss that you could use that same technique on to attack them. I thought that was pretty cool, rather because it would have been easy to just have a boss and have an attack and then like a cooldown period where you just go in and drill them and drill them and drill them. The fact that you have to attack certain points, like unscrew a screw or attack them underneath and things like that, I thought that was pretty good fun. It felt satisfying.
Yes. Yeah, there are multiple sort of phases to these bosses, and they also go on for quite a long time.
Some of them do,
yeah, especially if you keep getting it wrong, like I did. But yeah, there's some certainly challenging bosses. I think there's one at the end of each stage, so there's quite a lot. The structure of it is very similar to a Sonic game, actually.
It is actually, yeah.
Zones, acts, boss at the end, that kind of thing. Very similar, similar number of zones and acts, but just much longer.
Much longer.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's
What did you think of the music?
Mixed bag.
Yeah,
I would say. Yeah,
I'd agree.
I mean, the Game Boy Advance is not the best. Does not have the best sound coming out of it.
No, I think that's fair to say on the whole.
I like certain soundtracks on Game Boy Advance are really good, and some games work with it better than others. I think this is one that has some reasonably good tunes in them. Some of them are quite repetitive. As you play through the game, you'll find some that you'll like, some that you find a bit more annoying. So yeah, mixed bag, but not all horrendous. Not a horrendous soundtrack.
Oh, it's not bad by any means, no. But no. It's not the most memorable one, I'd say. I don't think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be a contender for the best soundtrack in our end of the year awards.
No, I don't think so. No, sadly not. So, again, slightly because of the. I think if some of those sounds were coming out of a different machine, they'd sound a bit less annoying. But I think some of the tunes are just not that great as well.
Do you think there's enough in the game in terms of just sort of concepts and ideas to be expanded on? If there was a sequel, do you think there's enough there to work to build upon?
Oh, I think they could easily make a sequel to this.
Yeah.
I think so. A sort of a modern version of this. would be really nice. I think there is a one-hit wonder in terms of things. In terms of it doesn't have any sequels, much like Timber the Badass Elephant so far. But yeah, there's enough to work with that you could make a little franchise out of this. I think.
Yeah.
I think you could do a lot. I mean, I didn't get through the whole game. I think I got to the end of area 4. I think it's 6 in total.
Yeah.
And but along the way, did you get the submarine? By the way,
no.
There's level 3, stage 2. You get a submarine part, and then you can go under the water, and you can use your drill to sort of maneuver around the water,
cool.
Which was quite cumbersome. Because you have to get it right, and there's these various currents and stuff. But it was interesting. It kind of varied up the gameplay quite significantly.
Yeah.
Similarly, at the end of area 4, you get a propeller attachment, so you can do a similar thing with flying. So you can fly around the stage a little bit. So there's plenty of variety there, and I think there's even more you could explore in a sequel. I think.
Yeah, definitely.
There's not many games that really use drilling either. I don't think. As a mechanic.
No, not really. There's Mr. Driller.
Oh yeah, it's Mr. Driller. Yeah, that's more of as a puzzle game. I'm thinking, in terms of platforms,
in terms of platforming, not really.
No, the Drill Wisp in Sonic Colors is the only other thing I can think of.
Yeah.
Which was a cool mechanic. But I can't think of any game that's based on drilling as much as this game.
No.
Platforming wise. So yeah, it's definitely an untapped area that they could easily explore more of if they wanted to, but I don't think they will somehow.
I don't think they will. It seems to be Pokemon all the way down for them at the moment, but
it works for them. It makes money. I think that they are working on something else though. They're working on an RPG at the moment. I think it's not Pokemon.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a good. I'm not so much else to say about it really.
No,
I feel like we haven't talked about it for very long, but.
Well, I mean, you get that with some games. I mean, there's games that we've had before where it's more about playing them, I think. You can boil down the mechanics to them very, very shortly, but it's a lot of it comes from the feel of playing it. I mean, if we can say that Drill Dozer, you've got the 3 levels of the gears and stuff, and you got to time it and things like that. Until you really play it, I think a lot of it is in the feeling and how satisfying it is when you sort of click into the 3rd gear and really plow through it like come through a wall and then plow through a bunch of enemies and go through the other things.
Yeah.
It's got that same kind of feeling. Kind of like in Mario when you slide down a hill and you bump into a load of enemies and you go boop, 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 boop. It's got that same, you can describe that to someone and they go, oh yeah, you slide down the hill. But it's when you get a feeling from playing it.
There's a certain satisfaction from doing it yourself.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those games where it's more about the feel than the actual sort of mechanics of it.
Yes, that 3rd gear is when you're drilling into something and you've got a sort of a row of blocks or enemies and things, and then once you hit that 3rd gear and you finish drilling the one you're drilling, you just zip right through the rest of them, don't you? And it is very satisfying, actually. Yeah.
We got some comments back on Twitter when we started canvassing opinions for what people thought of Drill Dozer. Universally, the response has been, great. People love it. We haven't had any sort of negative comments about Drill Dozer at all. At S. Finnerface, Sean Finneran, says it's absolutely stellar, way underrated game from Game Freak. Great use of rumble, game looks and feels great. Soundtrack is phenomenal, so he loved the soundtrack.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
That's cool. There we go. Hitting 3rd gear is one of the best feelings you can get from any video game, period.
Yeah.
So I think that echoes what we're saying, really. It's very much a game on feeling. Lethargic Ramblings says, let me get their at always lethargic. Says Drill Dozer is dope.
I know the feeling. Sorry.
One of the best games on GBA, particularly if you have the Rumble Pack.
Yes.
So yeah.
Or if you have the physical game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so universally, like I say, positive feedback. And if you just search for Drill Dozer on Twitter, there's still people talking about it to this day, and still people discussing it, saying good things about it. So it's obviously a loved game.
It was a game I was aware of, sort of getting into podcasts and hearing people talk about games that aren't necessarily went under the radar at the time, but are now sort of more kind of cult favourites. It's a game you hear about in those sorts of circles, isn't it?
Yeah.
And yeah, it clearly had its. I mean, those guys sound like they've been fans for years of it. So yeah, brilliant.
Cool. So I think we're both in agreement. It's definitely worth checking out. It's one that we both recommend. If you've got the money to buy the physical one, obviously that's always the way we'd recommend doing it. But I'd say buy it on the Virtual Console. But I don't know if the Wii U Virtual Console has that been shut down now, or is it?
No,
just
I think it's still going.
Is that still going?
It's still going. Yeah, for how much longer? I don't think very long.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Nintendo shut these things down fairly quickly compared to their.
They don't hang about, do they? So
their rivals. Yeah. No, they don't.
Pick up where you can.
Pick up where you can, or just emulate it. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we get to our next pick, I'm going to read something very nice that someone has sent us. And we don't often get nice emails, so this makes it extra special. So, an email writes, I asked on Twitter for recommendations for retro-style gaming podcasts, and Ollie posted about the show, so I've listened to every episode over the last 3 days, and I just want to let you guys know I love it. I'm gutted I'm going to have to wait a month for each new episode now, but I'm sure I'll manage. I'd like to suggest a book club game if I may. Back in the first episode, Ollie mentions he's never played Metal Gear Solid, and I have to say I very nearly stopped listening right then. Sorry. Every episode, I'm glad you stayed with us. Every episode after that, I thought to myself, surely they'll do MGS this month, but alas, 14 episodes later, we are still a snake-free zone. I feel it is past time to rectify this travesty once and for all and have Metal Gear Solid as your book club game next month. Again, I love the podcast. Please keep up the good work. Deadpool Rick.
That's awesome.
So, first of all, that's phenomenal. I mean, the fact that you've listened to every show in over 3 days
that's a feat of human endurance. I thought never possible.
I have heard that though. When people get into podcasts, they just go nuts for them. They just like binge listen to them. So the fact that someone's done that for ours is so humbling. It's
really cool.
It's really nice. As I say, we don't get many emails like this. We don't get much people coming back to us and saying how much they like it, and the fact that you've listened to them all in one go is brilliant. So thank you so much, Rick. We really, really appreciate that. As he said, I did reach out to him because he was looking for a new podcast. So I thought, there's an opportunity there to grab another listener. So I thought, check out us if you've got some time. Luckily, he had some time, and he listened and he liked.
What about his request?
Yes, I was getting to that. Yes, well, Rick, you're in luck because you're on. Next month, we're doing Metal Gear Solid, the original on the PlayStation.
Brilliant.
Yeah. It is a game, as I responded to him, I said it is a game that I've been meaning to get around to, at some point, because it is something that literally everyone else seems to have played, except me, for one thing. But also, I think it sounds, when we were talking about it on our very first episode, it does sound really, really interesting. A series that I could easily get into. So, we're going to find out next month. We're going to play Metal Gear Solid. That's
excellent. I'm glad you've chosen that one because there's a lot of games in the series to jump in with, but I think the first one is really the best place to start. So the first in the Metal Gear Solid series, I know there's someone's going to say, but there was Metal Gear on the MSX. But in terms of Metal Gear Solid, which is where that was reasonable to say that's most people's first introduction to the series. So I think that's a really good place to start. I'm really excited about this. I can't wait to hear what you think about it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, so if there happens to be anyone else out there who hasn't played this game, give us a listen next month, and we'll give you the lowdown on it. This this brand new game. This
finger on the pulse. That's the kind of latest word on the street news that you can get only from Bottom Up.
Absolutely. That's what we're doing. Yeah. So yes, that's what we're playing next month. Thank you again, Rick. We're glad to have you on board. I hope you've enjoyed this episode as much as the last ones. Thank you so much.
My microphone's about to fall over. Hang on. Hang on.
Oh, gold.
There we go. I'm holding it. It's fine.
Yeah. so amazed by this lovely outpour that your mic just simply couldn't handle it.
No, it's gonna go. I'm just gonna hold it. There we go. So it's fine.
Okay, all right, we're nearly done. Right. So if you want to send a similar email to us, we'd love it. It's podemup@gmail.com.
Yes.
If you want to find us on Twitter,
Podemup.
It's at Podemup. Yep. We're on the interwebs. We're at podemup.net.
Mm-hmm.
We're on YouTube, all the other stuff. Get us on any podcast client you want. Send us something. Talk to us. We're here. Yeah, and listen to us next month.
Yeah.
Where we're talking about Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
Anything else to add, Tibbs?
If you have the ability to astral project, you could probably pop by and watch us play it live. But I don't know if many people can do that.
Not as far as I'm aware.
I don't know if it's even a thing.
We might have to give out our addresses as well. Which I
no, because it's on the astral plane, isn't it? They just, they just focus in and go. They're there.
I don't know if I'm on the astral plane. I need to get on that.
Oh, you are.
Am I? I don't remember signing that up to that. I don't remember agreeing to
up.
any terms and conditions on the astral plane.
I signed you up.
Did you?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
So
can they pop in at any time when we're not, like when we're not playing games,
Yeah. Yeah. You eating your dinner is one of the top hot events on the astral plane at the moment. People love it.
This is news to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Shall we, unless we've got any other business, shall we leave it there for this evening?
Let's leave it there for this evening. All right. Thanks very much, guys.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.